What are these tubes I found in my grandfather's house? My grandfather was in the military, and that's all I know about him. They are made of metal, and one of them has patent dates, dating from 1903 to 1913. Does anyone have any info? Those are called a Deegan military dinner call, missing the backboard. It was designed to summon military personnel to formal mess dinners. It produced distinct musical notes to signal the start of a meal. It was first patented on July 28, 1903, by John C. Deegan of Chicago, Illinois. I'm looking for any info whatsoever on these metal clogs. The only info I know is they're possibly from Germany or Argentina, both countries where I have extended family. It looks to be possibly copper from the little bits of green patina. Any insight into what this could be? It's a 19th century Spanish colonial-style brass stirrup, often referred to as conquistador items, as they are the kind worn by the first Spanish explorers and military representatives to the New World, and were made for centuries as a common form. The bottom has a triangular-shaped hole for drainage, and the top has a large heavy loop for attaching to the saddle with a leather strap. What is this strange dish? I got this at a junk store years ago, and I just rediscovered it when cleaning out my storage. It's a pewter dish, and the back is blank, but what is it depicting? Does anyone have any insight into whether this has any meaning or origin? Or is it just a random selection of things? It's an antique ashtray called After Holiday Mood. It basically depicts a hangover, and it's either Russian or from some other Slavic country. The gnomes with hammers are a metaphor of a headache, while the cat is from a saying, "Cats pooped in mouth," which is used to describe awful taste in your mouth when you wake up hangover. Only 2 mentions out there in auctions, one Russian and one Bulgarian. It's cheap though, for something antique I mean, something like $100. What is this metal thingy I found on the road near Conifer, Colorado? I tried to take uncrappy pics, but I was in a dimly lit bar at the time. Someone said it looks like a part of a bracket for a gate hinge. Does anyone know what it's from? It's a key mechanism for an Egyptian-themed scorpion lock. It is a stylized padlock, which is opened by inserting the non-hook end into the mouth and then pushed until the scorpion's claws grab the hook end. I believe it is made of brass and was made around the 60s, based on my research. What is this thing seen on a flatbed on the highway? It has some letters and numbers on it, but I can't figure out what it is. I'm excited to find out what you all think. It's a Pratt & Whitney JT-8D, a low-bypass turbofan engine introduced by Pratt & Whitney in February 1963, with the inaugural flight of the Boeing 727. It was a modification of the Pratt & Whitney J52 turbojet engine, which powered the US Navy A-6 Intruder and A-4 Skyhawk attack aircraft. What is this thing I found at Goodwill? Around 23 inches tall, it appears to be brass, or possibly bronze, and extremely heavy. I think it's part of a garden water feature, or some kind of smelter. Any help would be highly appreciated. It's an ancient Chinese cooking vessel. Here's a similar one at the Met Museum, which dates back to the 9th century. Here's another one in Korea that says it's from the Hanseong capital period, from 18 BCE to 475 CE. And this one from the Han Dynasty, from 206 BCE to 220 CE. It's probably a reproduction, but some strange treasures have been found languishing in antique stores and places like Goodwill. So if it isn't a reproduction, it might be some actual item from among Bronze Age antiquities. Sometimes these things end up where they don't belong, whether looted or somehow put into the hands of some private collector, whose children didn't know what they had on hand, subsequently sending them to the thrift shop or Goodwill. What is this brass hollow object from my grandfather? It's about 15 centimeters in length, about 6.5 centimeters in diameter, and it doesn't weigh much. It has no moving parts and is possibly dated to World War I. Tyne-Eard is the house name of where my great-grandfather lived, whose name was Robert Hughes, whereas Herman is the name of the village he's from. It's very common in Welsh culture to know someone by the name of their house. Any idea what it is for? It's a Victorian Welsh twist tobacco tin, missing the bottom half. It has often been the misconception that these jars were made from used shell casings. In fact, they were made as an entirely standalone product. It was produced from brass with a tin liner, and they are often associated with the miners of South Wales. However, their use was far spread, and many are found in the farming regions of West Wales. What is this heavy brass object found at an antique flea market? There are degree marks on the top and side, and it looks like there was a compass needle at the top. The sides have slits, but I don't know what those slits do. Any info about what this might be would be helpful. It's an antique surveyor's pantometer from circa 1900, designed to measure angles accurately, which is crucial for determining elevations and distances in land surveying. They can also be used to measure slopes for creating maps and charts, making them useful for topographical surveys. What is this copper and brass tool or train part located in Cobb County, Georgia? It's been in my family for years, and we had no clue what it was. We received it from a relative, around 14 inches long. The cylinder appears to be copper, and the base and top are yellow brass. The flat bottom does not unscrew, but the top does. Museums have said it's definitely train-related, but for what, they don't know. The letters stand for East Tennessee Valley and Georgia Railway, but I don't know what it was used for. Any help is appreciated. It's a 19th century railroad flare torch, used by railroad personnel to signal hazards, direct traffic, or serve as a temporary light source at night or in emergency situations. It functions as a brightly burning torch and is designed to be visible over long distances. When a train encounters a lit railroad flare, it is generally required to stop until the flare has completely burned out. What are these rods from our municipal archive storage room? Around 48 centimeters long, made of chrome-plated steel with movable plastic wheels on one end, and 3 have an additional movable flanged plastic sleeve. May be relevant. We have an in-house workshop for the restoration of books and archive documents. Does anyone know what this would be used for? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.